considering selling your home on your own? I'm going to go over the top 5 things you should know if you're considering being a for sale by owner. Number 1, did you know that most buyers assume that a home that is being sold by the owner will actually be sold at a discounted price? So the reason why I'm doing this video is because the other day I was listening to a podcast for real estate investors, and one of the investors made a comment and he said, I absolutely love to buy my investment properties from for sale by owners because I know that I have more knowledge than them because I do so many deals in a year. And basically he was insinuating that he can take advantage of that situation. Have you ever been on Facebook and someone comments, does anyone know if there's a home for sale by owner that's not on the market right now with an agent? The reason why they're asking that is because they assume that they can purchase the home at a discounted price. So I know that's very hard for people to hear because they want to assume or they want to feel like they have the knowledge to sell their home on their own, which you can. You can absolutely sell your home on the own, but there are things you have to consider. And number 1 is people are going to assume that they're going to be able to get a discount on your home and buy it for less than as if it were on the market with an agent. All right, let's dive into number 2. Pricing your home correctly is one of the most important steps in the entire home selling process. Most homes that are being sold by their owners without an agent are mispriced. If they're underpriced, you're automatically leaving money on the table. If you're overpriced, you are most likely also leaving money on the table. Statistically speaking, homes that are overpriced end up selling for less than they would have if they were priced correctly from the beginning. So if you need to price your home correctly, how are you going to go about doing that? Well, if you only take one thing from this entire video, this is the thing I want you to listen to. Do not use an online pricing tool. They are notoriously terrible. So how do we go about doing it? Well, first of all, you need to have access to the data to find out which similar properties have sold recently near your home. You need to identify things like condition, style, size, and a slew of other things. Then you need to make adjustments as needed to adjust the price to match your property. This can be very difficult for a for sale by owner because you're emotionally connected to your home and you always see your home in a better light than you will see a neighbor's home. We see this time and time again when dealing with sellers. So once you come up with a price that way, what you need to do then is look at what other homes would a potential buyer be looking at if they're looking at your home to buy. What else is out there for sale right now? Because the last thing you want to do is be the home that's selling all your neighbors' homes because you're overpriced. And the last thing that you want to do is be so underpriced that your home sells in a day and you left a bunch of money on the table. So you need to understand the local market, current trends, where interest rates are because that affects pricing as well. All of these need to be considered when putting a price tag on your home. 3, marketing your home. How are you going to get the word out there that your home is for sale? So a sign in the yard, maybe a little blurb in the local newspaper, all of those things work. And nowadays it's very easy. You go onto an online for sale by owner website and you can put your home information there. Well, that's great and that will get your home out there for some people, but it's not quite enough. So we need to make sure that marketing is looked at from many different sides. Firstly, how are you going to prepare your home? Are there any fixes that should be made? Any things that should be done to prepare your home to be seen in its best light? You need to go through the steps to make sure that your home is ready to be shown and that buyers walking in will feel like it's ready to be purchased. So you need to make sure that your home is ready to be seen by potential buyers. Having an extra set of eyes that are really honest and objective is a great way to make sure that your home is ready. Ask a friend to come in and look around and say, all right, look at this as a potential buyer. What do you see that could be done better? And also be cautious that you're not putting any big ticket items, any big investments into your home because you may just not get them back. Find a great real estate photographer. Most buyers are starting their home search online, and it's very important that the pictures get them in the door to come and want to see more. Professional photographer with great pictures is absolutely super important. Do not get your cell phone out and just start snapping pictures. You might think they look okay, but a professional has the eye to really show your home in the best light. What type of online presence are you able to give your home other than putting it on a for sale by owner site? Are you able to access any any other means of putting your home out there? Are you going to consider paying a selling agent, an agent that brings a buyer to your home, a commission? Because 89% of buyers are actively working with an agent, and most of us agents working with buyers do have a written contract in place saying that if that buyer finds a home, we need to get paid our commission. So if you are not willing to work with any other agents, you are missing out on a huge pool of the buyers out there looking for homes, 89% of them. So you need to find a way to market to agents as well. Number 4, let's talk about how you're going to deal with buyers once you get some buyers giving you a call. So are you able to do background checks? Are you able to identify that they're not trying to scam you? Who's going to show the home? Because the reality is that most buyers don't want to deal with the seller. They want to walk through the home with their agent and not have the seller there. How are you going to give access to your home? Will this home be available to be shown throughout the day and evening, or will you not allow the home to be shown while you're at work? When you do get an offer on your home, how are you going to identify if it's a great offer? So you don't want to just look at the top number. The biggest number is not always the best. You need to consider, will the home appraise at that number? What type of financing? Who their mortgage broker or bank is, because not all pre-approvals are considered equal. Also, do they have a pre-approval? That's very important. How many days in contingency periods are you going to give them? What type of deposit are they going to give you? Is that enough? How are you going to accept deposit? Where is the escrow going to sit? These are all things that you need to make sure that you have planned out. Who's going to do the paperwork? It's great if you say a lawyer, there are certain things that they can do, but I will tell you there are certain steps that they might not be familiar with. Did you know if you live in a community, an HOA association, that you need to get a resale certificate, and by law that has to be done within a certain amount of days in Pennsylvania? Make sure you're aware of all of these rules and regulations. Let's talk about the negotiation aspect of dealing with the buyers. It can be very difficult because both you and the buyer are emotionally invested in this transaction. So negotiations can be extremely difficult. And that's where great agents do come in place and can help a seller get the most for their home, or at least find a happy ground where the seller and the buyer are the most happy in the transaction. So just consider about how you're going to go about negotiations. Are you going to accept a lower offer or not? These are all questions that you should consider before putting your home on the market. And lastly, I just want to go over some stats. I know that you can sell your home on your own as a for sale by owner. The question is, how much money will you be leaving on the table? Statistically speaking, homes that are sold by their owners sell for less money than they do if they would have had their own agent involved. Homes that are sold through an agent, statistically on average, give the seller more money in their pocket, and they did not have to do all of these other things on their own. Over 80% of for sale by owners end up hiring an agent anyway because they were not successful in selling their home on their own. 77% of for sale by owners end up paying a buyer's agent, which means that they pay for the buyer to have representation but did not pay for themselves to have representation. So you can imagine a professional who sells many homes a year now is representing the buyer, and you do not have professional representation. So unfortunately, the buyer in this case most likely has the upper hand in the transaction. So these are the top 5 things you should consider. There is no doubt in my mind that you can sell your home as a for sale by owner. It can absolutely be done. But the question is, how much money are you going to leave on the table? And how much of a headache is it going to be trying to juggle all of these things on your own?